Start to think about and feel the qualities of the earth, slowing down, nourishing, foundation. There's a coolness. There's this beautiful blend between earth and water that just perfectly places you into the moment. Take a few more moments to breathe into this space of slowing things down, and that's going to be the mantra, the intention behind our practice tonight, to just really slowly move in and out of consciousness and present moment of your asana practice. And then another way that you could play with this practice is to think about something that you want to root yourself into. Something that you maybe want to spend more time focusing on, being a part of. What is the most important thing that can hold your attention for this next 45 minutes? And place one hand over your heart to seal in that intention, and the other palm into the earth to allow yourself to ground and nourish into it. And bring both hands back to your heart space. Take a deep breath in. Let something go on your exhale. Blink your eyes open, and we'll stretch the legs out to a V shape. Take a few moments here to roll out your ankles, point and flex through your toes. Take a deep breath in as you reach your arms up over your shoulders. Exhale, hinge at your hips, fold, palms placed to the inside of your legs. Then take a moment here, again, to just root your sit bones down. Allow yourself to ease in and melt into the stretch. So we're going to start off a little slow, creating that purposeful foundation to move from. Walk your hands towards you, lift your chest back over your thighs, and then Janu Susarsana, bring the sole of your right or left foot, doesn't matter which side you start with, to the inside of the other leg. And instead of pivoting over the extended leg, we're actually going to reach arms up and fold straight forward, and then work to keep the hip of the bent leg down onto the mat. There's a tendency for it to want to pull off the mat. So push down into the palms, almost like that's going to push you back into your seat. And maybe it physically does. Take a breath in. And then exhale. See where you can adapt into the stretch. Is there something you can shift just slightly? Maybe bringing your forearms a little closer to the floor. And then walk your hands towards you, lift back up, extend and change sides, Janu Susarsana to the other side. So taking a moment to lift the arms to stretch, to create space, and then ground yourself as you fold, palms touch the floor. Push into the heel of your hands to maybe scoot you back into your sit bones, and breathe. And again, just noticing where you can shift or adjust slightly as you're finding your roots. And slowly walk your hands towards you. Last seated stretch here. Baddha Konasana, soles of the feet together to touch. Knees are out wide, and then you can decide, do you need your heels a little closer to you or a little further away? Take a breath in, and then fold, melt your chest towards your toes. For an added bonus, especially if you get a lot of tension in the feet, cramping, if you wear tight shoes, you can wiggle your fingers in between each of your toes here. It's quite intense. It can even feel a little bit painful, and if you're feeling that, that means you need it. And you can just kind of work into creating a little bit more space. It's literally called yoga toes. And as you do that, or just start to work into the stretch, you might bring your forehead a little closer to your feet. So think about this foundation that we're setting. We're spending a few moments nourishing these poses because we'll come back to them a little later on for the practice. That muscle memory. And then as you're down, slowly come back up. Take a moment to bring your knees together. They're bent, and then just rock from one hip to the other. Cross your legs, come through to child's pose. We'll take a few breaths here in child's. Toes touch, knees wide. And find your breath. So even though our focus is on earth today, What a lovely place to really feel that connection as you bow down into it through child's pose. Allow your forehead to touch the earth and feel the essence of your fingertips pressing against your mat. Hips are on your heels, and just feeling this opportunity to truly connect to your practice. Know that you can come back here at any time as a sign of strength, that you are focusing on your body, your breath connection. Slowly lift just a little bit, enough that you can start to pull your chest forward. We'll come into surfboard pose, so straighten your legs behind you, tops of the feet down to the mat. And cross one arm in front of the other, on top of the other, that is. So fingertips to either elbow tip. Kind of like I Dream of Jeannie arms, if you will. And then push the forearms down into the mat. Open up the chest just a little bit. Pull the heart through. And then lift your arms so they're parallel to one another, palms facing one another. Push your elbows down into the mat. You should feel a little activation of the upper body, the shoulders and the chest here. Like you're squeezing a block but also resisting against the block at the same time. And then change so that the opposite forearm is on top. And then push down into the forearms, pull the heart through, top of your head to the ceiling. Just create a little bit more awakening in the upper body. And then exhale, release. The variation of Cobra Pose tonight. Slide your palms a little closer to be in line with the tops of your shoulders, a little bit ahead of your shoulders. Spider tip fingers into the mat, elbows stick up. Push down into your fingertip pads, push down into the tops of your feet, and then slowly lift yourself away from the earth. And as you do so, hug the shoulders in, hug the elbows in. Now keep the lift of the upper body active through your legs, tops of the feet keep pushing down. Take your fingertips away from the floor, hug the shoulders and the elbows into midline, towards the middle of your back. Like you have little wings with your arms now. Breathe in. Exhale, release. You can tuck toes, you can reverse tabletop or plank, and we find downward facing dog next, Adho Mukha Svanasana. Take a moment here to settle into your downward facing dog. A lot of times in our down dog, we're focusing on opening a lot in the upper body. Today, I'd like you to focus on getting a lot of stretch in the hamstrings, the back of your legs. So work your heels closer to the mat, even if that means you adjust your down dog by walking in slightly. And then roll weight towards your big toe mounds a little bit. Feel the stretch change in your legs. And then it's a small little shift of bringing the weight towards the pinky edge of your feet. And then back in towards the big toe mound. So you're shifting the weight. You should feel the stretch from your inner thighs, inner legs to your outer thighs, outer legs. Little shift side to side, kind of like a tennis match between your legs. Walk your hands a little closer to you, your feet a little closer to you, till your heels touch the floor, even if that means that you're in a forward fold. Now push down into your heels. Lift your kneecaps towards your hip creases. Drop your head. I want you to intensify the stretch in the back of your legs. And then walk hands to feet together for a forward fold ragdoll. So take whatever variation feels good to you here. A moment to release any tension around your neck, your shoulders, your jaw. And if you have a wall near you and you can try this on, we'll press the back side of the body against the wall to change the stretch. So it looks a little like this. You would literally just back up against the wall. From your shoulders to the midline of your back, middle of the back. And once you feel your back press against the wall, tops of the fingertips to the floor, and then root down into your heels again. So you should feel this intense stretch, the back of the legs, into the sit bones, into the glutes. If you're in a forward fold against the wall or not, bring your hands to your booty for a moment and just feel the essence of your booty. There's a lot of energy that we hold here, anger, negativity. And since we're working on earth, we really are focusing on the hips, the booty, the legs, the feet. Just take a moment to feel what's happening here. You can massage out to your hips. Then down your legs, back to your feet, back to your toes. If you're against the wall, slowly push yourself away. We're then upside down for quite some time, so slow rise up to standing. Take your time. Once you have your head above your heart, roll your shoulders forward and backwards a few times. Hands come to heart or standing Shavasana. Take a moment here with your breath. So to build a little bit more heat and focus for your practice, Ujjayi Pranayama, sealing your lips and breathing just through your nose with a rhythmic, humidified breath. Let's step the feet a little closer together. Ground down through either your right or your left foot, whichever leg you want to start off. Bend the opposite knee and extend. So we're shifting into balance here. One leg mountain pose, arms can reach. And I will be making some personal modifications in my own practice. So again, listening to my cues. I have an injury on my left foot, so when the big toe is injured, it definitely makes a difference. And just like in our practice at any given time, we have places in our body that are not working as optimally, so we learn to shift and adjust. Woo. And then from here, bring hands to heart or to your hips. I'm going to bring mine to my hips to help with balance. And go ahead and bring your knees to touch. What you'll do is work to kick your heel towards your glute, so you get some activation in the hamstring. And then we're going to just juice up the hip, making big circles here. But you want to keep your heel as close to your glute as you can as you do this. And then up and around the other direction. Really nice big hip circles. Back up, out to the side. Don't miss it. Scrape. And then we'll change sides. Ground down. Shift your balance first. One leg mountain pose. Knee is right at hip height. Not higher, not lower. Core is engaged. Tailbone is lengthening down. There's a slight tuck at the bottom of your tailbone. Reaching here for balance. And then we start to bring the knees together to touch. Hands can come to heart or to your hips. And again, on this side, your heel is as close to your glute as you can get it. Really tighten the hamstring, feel that. And then we make big circles, clockwise, counterclockwise. So a lot of core work here. Moving around a few times to juice up the hip. Keep your heel towards your glute as much as you can. And then we release to standing. Couple more movements and we'll start to pick up the flow. Ground down to the other leg. Let's find a little tree pose, Vrikshasana. So either ankle at, or heel at your ankle like a kickstand. Sole of the foot above or below your knee. Hands come to heart. And then of course you can open up, create as much space in the upper body as you'd like. Sometimes it's nice, I like to bring hands behind the head and try to lean back a little bit, a little more opening in the chest. Stabilizing the core. Work on bringing your bent knee towards the back wall so we open up the hip a little bit more. Make sure you're breathing. And release, change sides. Vrikshasana tree pose on the other side. Taking whichever variation you feel will serve you most for your practice today. Remember, the intention is all about slowing down, nourishing, rooting in. As we build this series, this sequence throughout the week, you'll appreciate that you took a moment to pause and slow things down today, because you'll reserve your energy for where we're heading by Friday. Taking a few more moments to breathe into your variations on this side. Maybe even try closing your eyes. And release. Standing mountain pose, toes to touch your feet hip width apart, arms beside you. Fire up through your upper body, engaging muscle around bone. Inhale, reach up, Tadasana mountain pose. Exhale, hands through heart, forward fold, Uttanasana. Let's build a rich flow from here. Lengthen, halfway lift, Ardha Uttanasana. Exhale, tuck and curl to a ball. Lift your heels, squat low. Inhale, halfway lift, lengthen. Exhale, step back, high plank. Take a moment here, breathe in. Lower, halfway, mid plank, hold. Back to high plank, inhale. Mid plank, exhale. One more time, high plank, inhale. Mid plank. Upward facing dog, feel the stretch, the front line of the body. Exhale, hips up and back, downward facing dog. Take a moment, breathe here, inhale deep. Let your exhale go. We'll build on this a little bit. So every time we step forward, we're bringing our hands and feet together, so you're almost ending up in the middle of your mat. Take a halfway lift, breath in. Exhale, deep forward fold. Rise up to your mountain pose, Tadasana, inhale. Exhale, hands right through heart, forward fold, bend the knees, hinge at your hips, bow into yourself. We're adding on here, take a halfway lift, breath in. Deep forward fold, breath out. Sit low, chair pose, Uttanasana, inhale. Take a moment, airplane torso as you exhale. On the inhale, lift your left knee with you, rise up one leg mountain. Exhale, figure four, cross, sit back, hands at heart. So take a moment to work on opening in the hip. The deeper that you sit, the more you might start to feel a little more opening in the external hip. Breathe. Slow down. We rise back up, one leg mountain, inhale. Feel what it's like to extend your heel, straighten the leg, activate your core, and then come back to standing, feet down, reach up, a little back bend here if you'd like. Exhale, Inhale, reach up, hands through heart, forward fold, Uttanasana. Halfway lift, breath in. Another forward fold. Remember, we're stretching the hamstrings a lot today. Sit low, reach high, chair pose, Uttanasana, inhale. Airplane torso as you exhale. So you mindfully shift the foundation into your left leg. We lift the right knee, one leg mountain. Exhale, figure four, hands at heart, sit back. Lock your gaze and blur the room around you so you can focus on this moment. We rise back up, one leg mountain, inhale. Start to straighten your leg as you push through the heel. The tailbone is drawing down and there's a slight tuck, engaging the core. Mountain pose, inhale. Back bend to open up, exhale, Use your core to bring you back in line, head over heart, inhale. Hands through heart, forward fold, Uttanasana, exhale. Halfway lift, lengthen. Exhale, tuck and curl. Deep breath in. Forward fold, relax your head and your neck. Halfway lift, inhale. Step back, high plank, pause as you exhale. So take a moment here in your plank. Activate your core. All right, and now we take a nice slow moving chaturanga. Your slowest chaturanga ever. Pull your belly up and in. And then upward facing dog, nice and easy. Take a couple breaths through this transition. Moving through, lift your hips up and back, downward facing dog. Deep breath in. Exhale, walk hands and feet together, middle of your mat. Halfway lift, Ardha Utthana. Forward fold, exhale. Rise up, mountain pose, Tadasana. Reach all the way up, palms touch. Hands right at the heart, forward fold, bend the knees. Deep forward fold here. Exhale, relax head and neck. Halfway lift, breath in. Another fold, breath out. Toes touch. Sliver of space between your heels. Sit back, reach, chair pose, Uttanasana. Airplane torso, exhale. Little different this time. Sit back and down. Now reach the arms up, kind of like a back bend here in your chair pose. So as you're finding this, your knees are starting to move a little bit past your toes here, so keep working to sit down and back, to pull the toes back, and then lift up, biceps in line with ears, reaching, 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 hands behind the nape of your neck, elbows in towards your temples. Breathe. 3, 2, airplane arms, 1, shift back. Back into chair, sit low, reach high. Let's bring right arm underneath, right leg up and over, eagle. Now what I love about starting on the right side here is that it's going to allow us to shift into the left leg, leading us through the flow. So take a moment here. Now keep your bind in your upper body, eagle bound, airplane. Unwrap your right leg. Lift your heel up and back. Keep the bind in the arms, but then start to stretch the fingertips forward. Slow down. Now notice where your body is resisting this. That's where your attention is needed. If your foot is wobbling, give your attention to your foot. If your core is acting weird, give your attention to your core. So don't move away from it, move into the struggle. Step back, step back, step back. Warrior one for foundation. So hands can come to your hips. Take a moment to adjust. We want back heel down. And then reach up, Virabhadrasana one. Take inhale, straighten your front leg. For the transition, fold over your leg as you exhale. Just one time, halfway lift, Ardha Utthana here. And then we move and pivot to the right, Prasarita Padottanasana. In your Prasarita, take an opportunity to Skandasana side to side so we get a little more mobility in the legs. Back to your Prasarita. Adjust your legs for warrior two. So left foot is forward, open up warrior two. So I'm going to adjust so I can face you all. Still on my left leg. We're opening up on the left side first. Take a moment here. We're going to hang out and hold on to our warrior two for a few breaths. Build some strength from the floor up. So focus on your feet first. Try lifting the toes and then softening the toes. We want 4 points of contact. So big toe mound, pinky toe mound, inner and outer heel. And then physically and energetically, probably more energetically, feel your inner arches lift. And when you feel that lift, you should feel the inseam of your legs fire up. Check in, heel in line with back heel, front to back. Now let's find a little bit of freedom in the upper body here. Flip palms up, bend elbows a little bit, roll out wrists. Move the arms forward and back a few times, some circles. Just find the freedom. You're so stable and strong in your legs and the foundation of this pose, so you can find a little bit of freedom to move upper body. Good. Take a breath in. Exhale, extended side angle. Forearm on top of thigh today. And reach up through, finding a half bind. So we reach up and then wrap. Shoulder behind back, palm behind low back. If you want to hold on to your clothing or bring your fingertips to your hip crease. Now we push the forearm down against the thigh to get more space between your low ribs and your hip crease. So find that space and then draw your upper shoulder, your top shoulder up and back. Now cinch inner thighs in and you can release the neck here. Let your chin drop towards your chest. Now exhale the breath. Inhale, reverse. So everything's locked in from the hips down. For our reverse warrior, take a moment and look at your back foot. We want to make sure the toes are coming in at a slight angle. So if they're turning out from you, take a moment to adjust that. And then slide your back hand down the outside of your leg. You're either going to be above the knee or below the knee, where you can press into the heel of your hand. Don't lose your lunge. Reach up and over. So it almost feels like a reverse extended side angle. Feel the inner back thigh spiraling out and up. And then it's okay to drop your chin to chest here as well. If you're getting a lot of tension in the neck, take this top arm, heel of the hand stretches away from you. Woo! Release down to the earth. Step back, high plank. Chaturanga. Upward facing dog. Exhale, downward facing dog. Now take a moment, breathe in. I'm going to switch myself so that I'm still facing you all. Exhale, ha. Start to walk your feet and your hands towards one another, midline of the mat. Halfway lift, breath in. Exhale, fold. Toes touch, sliver space in the heels, sit low, reach high, chair pose, Utkatasana, inhale. Airplane torso as you exhale. We come into our back bend, so we sit low, reach up. Take a moment here to breathe. If it feels okay, hands behind the nape of your neck, elbows in towards your temples. Engage your core, so pull navel back and down, scoop the tailbone a little bit, sit back, sit back. Stay low, reach up through the arms, exhale, airplane torso. Good. Inhale back into your chair. This time it's left side, so left arm under, and left leg up and over, Eagle Garudasana. Notice what's calling your attention in this pose. Meet any resistance with your full attention. We keep the bind in the upper body as we unwrap the legs, eagle bound airplane. So lots of energy to lift the heel, point the toes down, turn the inner left thigh up, reach the fingertips away from you. Now, feel like you're pulling your navel up towards your low back. There's that little tuck of the tail when you do that. Notice where you're struggling a little bit. Is it the core? Is it your foot? Is it your upper body? Be there with it. Step back, warrior one. Take a moment to adjust your warrior. So both heels are down. You can bring your hands to your hips here and then reach up when you're ready. Focus your gaze. Such a primal pose to bring us right into the blueprint of so many postures in yoga. If you think about this pose, it translates to so many others, translates from Tadasana. Let's straighten the front leg, breathe in, reach, and then exhale, fold over your leg for the transition. Take just one little halfway lift here. Pivot left side of your mat, Prasarita Padottanasana. So focus on the hamstring stretch, a light bend of the knees. You can grab on to the outside of your shins and press hands against shins and shins into hands. And that immediately starts to spiral your inner thighs back. Bending the knees is going to take tension away from the low back, so let that happen. You can even walk your hands to the side of your mat and focus on releasing tension in the back of your legs. Take one more breath in. Soften in your fold as you exhale. Halfway lift. We adjust the front foot, so right foot is forward. We swoop up into warrior two, Virabhadrasana two. Take a moment to find your foundation from the earth first. So heel to heel alignment, front knee over front ankle, shoulders over your hips, and then find the freedom to move through your upper body. Arms forward and back, palms up and down, some arm circles. Feel how your lower body is really firing up right now. The longer we're here, the richer this gets. We'll take a few more moments to enjoy being in Virabhadrasana 2. That's why you're here. Hug inner thighs in. Check in with your face, your fingers. Breathe in. Exhale, extended side. So forearm on top of thigh. Reach up. And then arm behind you for that half bind. And then we resist. Forearm against thigh to get more space in your rib cage, away from your hip crease. Chin can tuck towards your chest if you want to release the neck a little bit. Keep working on lifting and wrapping this top shoulder away from your ear. Obliques are fired up. Exhale. Transition is reverse warrior, but let's check in real quick. Check the feet. Slide the heel of your backhand down your leg so you're going to land either above or below the knee. And then you can reach up and back. Deepen the lunge. Turn your heart towards the side. If you'd like to feel that neck release, take your top arm, reach the heel of the hand away from you as you bring your chin towards your chest. And slowly release down. Your vinyasa, step back through, slow, high to mid plank, chaturanga. We meet in downward facing dog. Deep breath in, deep breath out. Inhale, left leg up and back. Exhale, low lunge. Right into warrior two, open yourself up. Exhale, extended side angle. Reverse. Foundational flow, exhale back through your vinyasa. Check in with your transitions. Mindful, slow, purposeful movement. Back to dog. Inhale, right leg up and back. Exhale, low lunge. Warrior two, rise. Exhale, extend. Reverse, deep breath. Exhale, move through your vinyasa. We meet in downward facing dog. Take a few moments here to breathe. Inhale deep. Exhale, complete. Lower to your knees. Take a moment, come onto your back. So just a quick little core focus and hip opening. So we're building to the peak of our practice. Supta Baddha Konasana, soles of the feet together, knees wide. If you're really tight in the groin and the inner thighs, it can be good just to restore yourself here. Otherwise, hands behind your head. Exhale, we lift, bringing the elbows in towards temples. Inhale, we lower. Exhale, lift, pull shoulder blades all the way off the mat. Inhale, touch. Exhale, lift, inhale, down. Slow and controlled. Just a few of these. We'll go for two. And then one. Hold at the top, hold. Don't hold your breath. Chin can be down towards your throat. Just make sure that it's not tucked all the way to your chest. So there's a difference of pulling your chin back, creating space to breathe, taking this out of your neck, just hovering here for three. You can lift your heels off the mat, two. Feel the shake, one. Release, bring your knees together. Extend your legs out in front of you. Click your heels down to the floor, toes point up and they curl towards your shins. Exhale everything out. We're still gonna cup our head with our hands and elbows. And then it's a little curl as you exhale. Inhale down, exhale, curl. We're getting into the deep, deep core muscles here. Shh. Shh. We only have 10 of these, so I think we have about 7 to go. Ensuring that you're not craning your head, you're not pulling on your neck or your head. This is all core lift right here. So you can even bring the arms out, palms face up, just to make sure you're not pulling on your head for these last 2. And 1. Arms up and over your head, stretch. Let's get a little hamstring stretch and core work. So legs up the wall. Bring your hands to your right calf and lift your chest. So you're bringing your forehead towards your shin and then slowly lowering your left heel to hover off the mat. We just hold here. Pull navel down to spine, a little tuck of the tail. You're going to think about trying to flatten your low back down. When you push the low back down, you get that tuck. Let's change the stretch, change sides for a few moments. Pull your heart up, free in the neck, and then alternate. Pull, pull, pull. Core is doing all the work here. So if you take your hands out of this equation, you can still feel the core doing the work. The addition of the leg pull is getting the hamstring stretch that we want. For 3, 2, and 1. Legs back up the wall for a moment. Hands behind your hamstrings. Heels towards the ceiling. Belly down to spine. Curl tailbone up. Get the stretch. Release. Rock and roll a few times. Come up to seated. Make your way through a vinyasa if you'd like, and we'll meet in downward facing dog. Deep breath in. Deep breath out. Shh. Now shorten your down dog so that your heels touch the floor. Feel like you're pushing your heels down because you are, but you're trying to tear your mat in half. So hands are moving away from you energetically, heels are pushing back away from you. Get that stretch in the hamstrings. And now we walk hands and feet together to midline. Take a halfway lift, bend the knees. Exhale, bend the knees a lot, forward fold. Slow rise all the way up to standing. Exhale, standing Shavasana. All right, so let's move into hot tree. Ground down again, any side that you want to start on first. You'll take the outer heel, the ankle side of your foot, the knife edge, the pinky side, and place it up towards your hip crease. You can hook the foot right there. So it's like a special little spot right for it. And then if your foot doesn't stay here on its own, it's okay to hold on to it here. You can bring one hand to heart. The focus here is not so much the balance. The focus is on this external rotation and getting opening energy through the hip and the thigh. If it feels okay to try leaving your foot there, hands can come to heart. If it feels okay to do this, try a hot tree with a fold, hinging at your hips, hands come to hips, fold over your leg. If you're in the fold, slowly come back, or you can stay a while. We're gonna play around with this a little bit. Woo! Good. Come out of this. We'll come back to the other side in a moment. Let's change sides, ground down, hot tree, heel, knife edge, pinky edge of foot towards your hip crease. Hand can come to heart, both hands to heart, and focus on bringing this knee down so you're getting that opening. If you took the fold on the other side, try that here. If you're in the fold, let your head and neck release. Fold, start to come back up. Release, take a moment. So we want the blood to recirculate, the lymph, everything start to recirculate back into the body. Second set. Now for here, we can move into a deeper variation of tree. It can be hot tree or traditional power tree. I'd like to move into Utthita Hasta Padangusthasana. So that's hand to big toe pose. Hasta hand, Padangusthasana foot. So from here, you can bring your knee center, wrap your peace fingers around your big toe or your foot, and then work to extend your heel out. So we already played with this in our standing mountain pose, what it felt like to bring the leg up. Changing this pose a little bit, but the thing that we want to make sure that's happening is you're not hinging forward. So from a profile, we are still in alignment. So at the point that you feel like you have to come forward to adapt to this pose, come out of it, bend the knee. Shoulder right over your hip, and then you work to straighten the leg over time. You could try that on. If that feels okay, bring your heel back to center and then extend out to the side. So we did those hip circles earlier, right? We juiced up the hips so that we can play with hand to big toe stand. We warmed up the core so that we could stabilize ourselves in this pose. Let's try the other side. See how it goes. Clear your mind of any doubt, any fear, any struggle. And big toe pose here. Since I have an injury, I'm going to place my hand on the outside of my foot and work to extend the heel. Same thing though, shoulder must be right over our hip rather than hinging forward. So bend the knee as much as needed so you're standing tall and confident. Bring the heel in, play with opening to the side. Woo! It's funny how much of a change it is to go from your big toe to the outer edge of your foot. Yeah. Breathe, breathe, breathe. And release. Standing Shavasana, take a moment, close your eyes, let your body process. It's like you have this awesome foundation and then we just created an earthquake. So take a moment for the earth to resettle, to reroot. When you're ready, inhale into a glorious mountain pose. Exhale, soften knees first, hinge at your hips, hands through heart, bow forward, Uttanasana. Halfway lift to lengthen. Tuck and curl as you exhale, come into a ball. Plant your palms, step back, maybe jump back, mid-plank chaturanga. We come back into our downward facing dog. Let's lift the left leg up and back. Inhale, half pigeon, left knee to left wrist. Take a moment here. So we felt this a little bit or a lot actually, in some of our poses. Tree pose. We found some leg stretches at the beginning of class. This should feel quite familiar for you to just go right into a deeper expression of hip opening. Give yourself a moment to fully fall into this pose. And bring yourself back onto your palms. Roll out to your left hip. Janu Susarsana, second set. So we're bringing the right leg outside of the left foot. We've been here before, except the beginning of the practice we folded straight forward. This time we reach up, we pivot, and we fold over the extended leg. For a deeper stretch, wrap your hands, crisscross your arms, and wrap your palms on the outside of your foot. Fold your head towards your shin. Don't lock your knee. Keep both sit bones down on the floor. Breathe. Slowly walk back up. We'll move into a seated twist. So bring your left leg over your right. We don't always have to twist to the right first. This is Anna Forrest technique, to twist to the left actually. So we're gonna enjoy that variation. Everything was about leading with the left today, just to kind of give us a different sense of foundation, different way to approach the practice. Work with your breath to find your twist. If you're doing this in the right way, you might also feel the glute stretch. Right. And then release. Come through to downward dog. We change sides. Inhale, right leg up and back. Exhale, half pigeon, right side. Take a moment to let yourself surrender to your practice. A few more breaths here. And start to bring your hands back to the mat, lifting your chest. Roll out to your right hip. Janu Susarsana on the other side, second set. So remember to stretch, reach your arms up and over your shoulders, pivot over your extended leg, and fold. And exhale, release. Seated twist, right leg up and over the left, and hook, twisting to the right. One more breath, root down, lengthen through the top of your head. Enjoy this exhale, twist. Good, and then come to a seat. So if you sat with your legs crossed a certain way at the beginning of the practice, change the cross of your legs. Take a moment to bring your hands on top of your thighs, close your eyes, come back into your body just in case your mind has taken you somewhere else. Root back into the energy of the earth. Feel it beneath you, holding you, nourishing you, bringing you back into this present moment. When you're ready, blink your eyes open. Padmasana is our peak pose. It's where we'll actually finish our practice. So instead of the traditional Shavasana, which you can absolutely move into after this, I'm going to end us in a seated Padmasana pose. This is a posture that we work to get to so that we can sit with discipline in meditation. And think about all that we did to accomplish just sitting still. So start with one foot on top of opposite hip crease, just like you would be moving into hot tree. And today, if you haven't tried this pose on in a while, you might just do one leg on top instead of both. Okay, so I have my right foot on top of my left hip crease, but I have just my left foot underneath my right knee. So try that. Try one side first. See how that feels. You can do a forward fold. Just stretch into this a little bit. You can try lifting and floating off the mat. We'll try the other side. So we're stretching out both sides of the body. Again, I'm just doing a half on each side to start. A little fold. A little lift. And let's try full Padmasana now. So I'm going to stay on this same side and cross. It's like you're tying shoes. So both of your feet are resting at your hip creases. Heels are in, toes are out. And now you're rooting yourself, you're anchoring yourself to sit still. So try 3 to 5 breaths here. Hands are on your thighs. Close your eyes. And notice that even as you're striving to sit still, there might be this vibrant energy, this vibration coming up. Just notice it and then discipline it with your breath. Release this side, uncross legs. Take a moment to give them a little wiggle, a little rock side to side. And we try opposite side. So one side is usually, just like many things, a little bit more, am I on the same? I'm on the same. Willing than others. So it's always good to practice balance by finding the side that's more of a struggle and sitting with that side longer. Backing off of the stronger side, even though the ego loves it, because it's like, yes, I'm rocking this pose. Spend more time with the side that you are struggling with. All right, let's try our 3 to 5 breaths on the other side. See how that feels to root your sit bones down. Let your pelvic floor drop. If you're squeezing your butt, which some of us are because we're kind of counteractive, reacting to the pose, soften your booty. That's why we felt our butts at the beginning of the practice, as weird as that might have felt. But like, we gotta love the booty, right? It's a huge part of our anatomy. It's a huge part of our practice. It overcompensates and then sometimes undercompensates. So we could have a whole discussion about yoga booty another time. Let's come into our meditation, a moment of stillness and silence. If you want to stay seated and enjoy the slumber of meditation, be as you are. If you want to try one more little lift, make fists outside your hips, activating your core, Mula Uddiyana Bandha, push your fists down and work on floating. Woo! For 3, 2, 1, release. And at this point, I'll indulge us in a forward fold to complete our practice. If you'd like to move into a Shavasana at this time, by all means, go ahead. The music will certainly guide you into a space of serenity. Otherwise, this may be where we end our time together, just taking a moment to honor the light and the teacher in ourselves and each other. Namaste. Just a quick update. Today was our earth energy flow. As we move through the week, we'll move through all of the elemental nature types. So we have water on Tuesday, fire on Wednesday. We have air on Thursday, and then Friday is infinity. So thank you all so much. These classes will be posted to YouTube very soon as well. Namaste.